Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Stern coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And tonight is meal 2 of my Dutch 24-hour ration, the cold climate one. I am bringing the chat up on my tablet so I can read the comments. Gotta get past these stupid ads too. Well, the ads earn me revenue, but I don't think when I view my own, I don't think I view my own counts, but anyway, I gotta do it so I can bring up the chat. But as you can see, there is less in the bag because I have eaten one meal. And now I'm going on to meal 2, and I have decided on the mashed potatoes with beef. So that will be this pouch. As I said last week, my tray is going to be yellow because of the turmeric. I'm knocking the stuff down below the zip because I'm going to need to be able to zip that. And then what I did with all of the other stuff that I intend to have for tonight, I put it in this bag, and make sure I got the right bag. Yep. So everything that I intend to have for tonight is, I converted the snack packs into just accessory packs. So here is the vegetable soup, which I'm going to put in with the potatoes. And then for my drinking jar, the Orifol orange drink. And then for my hot drink, this is the breakfast tea. It doesn't say English breakfast, but the English breakfast tea is, or maybe in the style of the English breakfast tea. And a stick of sugar. This is a hazelnut chocolate spread, kind of like Nutella. Jelly beans. I do want to check those out because I'm very interested in seeing what the Orifol does for jelly beans. This is an Orifol chocolate bar. There's the cranberries, and these are the digestive biscuits. So I got the water on the stove coming up to a boil. Same with last week. I have Walgreens bag for my trash. Let's see, we got Purple for the Ages, waffles. So far, those are the only two that I see popping stuff into the chat. I can definitely smell the different seasonings. I read the ingredients list. They put nutmeg in here, so that should be interesting. But I'm just going to make it even more interesting. This is the vegetable soup. And I can get a close-up look at that. It looks more like a bouillon, like a vegetable bouillon. I also have the rice pudding on the menu for tonight, but that is in the fridge chilling. Tea bag says breakfast. And it has it in a couple other languages on the other side. Well, they pretty much vacuum seal the sugar in these packets. They want to make them as slim as possible, I guess. Because this is instant potatoes, I do not anticipate this needing as much time. It says wait 6 to 8 minutes. So I think that will work just fine. In fact, I'm going to go get the kettle for that and I'll be right back. I have my long spoon. I'm putting in and while I'm at it, bag says you over 500 mils of water, so that seems like a lot of water, but when you're doing instant potatoes, they soak up the water fast. And I want to make sure that I am getting it well mixed. That way I don't leave any dry bits behind. Still hearing some dryness down at the bottom, so I'm really going after it. As well as I want to get that soup mix all the way through it. I think I might throw just a little bit more water in there. I think that should be good enough. I just took the kettle back to the kitchen because I'm done with that. YTM False is here. Thanks for dropping in. Haven't seen you in a minute. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and make my drink mix. Looks a lot lighter in color than the American drink mixes, and maybe even the Canadian ones. And like the grapefruit, it is not obnoxiously bright. It did kind of smell like a light scent of tang. But maybe a little bit more towards natural orange. Doesn't quite look like actual orange juice. But at least it's not obnoxiously bright. Here's a look at that. Oh yeah, green onions are awesome. I would like to see them in rations, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Let's see how these digestive biscuits, well, some of them seem to be intact. I'm actually going to put them up here by, yeah, they look like the usual digestive biscuits that we're familiar with. The biscuits that were in last week's, you know, the label says biscuits brown, but they were not the usual biscuits brown that Orfo does. That was a different company, and they were a lot lighter in color, not quite so dense. They broke very easily. Some of these broke as well, but this is the typical digestive biscuit. I don't see a tear notch on the cranberries, so I'm just gonna get out my mini multi-tool. I have scissors on it, plus a little blade. They actually smell quite natural. So I'm going to go ahead and put those there. There are not very many of them in there. This is only a 25-gram pack, so just a couple of grams shy of an ounce, because an ounce is 28 grams. That will go with those biscuits. And I still have the scissors out, so I'm going to go ahead and... Ooh, I definitely smell the jelly beans. I'm going to put them down here with the cranberries. That's a 30-gram pack of those. Spicy tuna rolls has wiggled his fins on in here. These almost look like Jelly Bellies. The different colors. So a variety of colors here, which is awesome. So these are all of, those are all of the colors of the jelly beans. I'm going to need the chocolate hazelnut spread. There's an air bubble in there. And then I'll cut a corner off of the packet. According to this, it's 20 grams. I'm going to put that there. A piece of the trash missed the bag. And I'm using a Walgreens bag as a trash bag. This chocolate bar got a bit banged up, but we'll see how it held up. I'm just gonna let it slide right out there. Oh, actually it survived better than I thought it would. It's actually still together, not too bloomed. That can just kind of hang out like that. I'm going to go ahead and get my tea bag squeezer. Because I don't like throwing away all that flavor. Oops. I got a bowl for the rice pudding. And I got my, there is the instant potato. I'm just going to put that over here. So I'm going to go get the rice pudding and empty it into this bowl, and I'll be right back. Rice pudding with vanilla. This is a 350 gram pouch. And I shook it just to make sure that it was, I had it laying down in the fridge. I have to use my I use my sport to get it out of here. This is a bit on the loose side. Some rice puddings are like that. Here, Frenchie's Sandy, otherwise known as Mother Earth Garden Club, in the house. I just emptied the rice pudding, into this bowl because it is, dang it. It's actually pretty good. The rice is actually a bit on the al dente side. I'm going to put my rice pudding here because it is time to open up this bag of taters. Remember, I put the vegetable soup mix in with the taters. And I'm going to use my long spoon that I used to mix this to get all this out. And it does not feel like I left too much, if anything, dry in here. Squeeze a little bit more out. And here is my dinner. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to go ahead and put some of this this chocolate hazelnut spread on one of these biscuits, and that is a bit runny. I'm just going to leave it like that. I think I'll just leave this, my spork in the pudding, and I'll just eat my taters with this one. But that's really good. Putting that vegetable soup mix in here definitely adds a bit of flavor. There is a bit of the beef. I hope you can see that. According to the ingredients, there's also a small amount of chicken in here. Probably meant just to flavor the potatoes. But putting that soup in here, I think that's the way to go. This is pretty darn good. Doesn't need anything else. Oh yeah, we're on a temperature roller coaster here. It got up to like 71 today. Then we're supposed to have 80s for the next couple of days. And then later in next Friday, I think the temp will be in around 80 or so. I'd have to check the forecast again. But then Saturday, the high is only supposed to be in the 40s. It's driving people up the wall backwards because, can we plant outside yet? Can we can we do other certain things outside without having to dress like it's winter? I got my windows cracked. Again, I'm resisting the urge to turn on my AC, only to have to shut it off after a few days. Yeah, we had rain yesterday. And we had some rain off and on today. It was just slightly raining when I went to take some trash to the dumpster. It wasn't raining too hard, just more like a sprinkle. But we have definitely had a good amount. Just clean off my spork so I can give my orange drink another mix, although it probably really doesn't need it. That tastes almost like a natural orange juice. And it kind of looks like it, but yeah, these Orifol drink mixes, they put American drink mixes to shame. Gonna try some of these cranberries. Those are really good too. They got the right amount of tart and sweet. They don't have that same crap that's put on American cranberries. Right now it's just cloudy, but I think we're going to get some more rain tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if a Dutch soldier in the field would do what I did with the instant potatoes from this menu and the soup mix, just put them together. No need to make an extra thing up by itself and use more water. When you can just put them together. I mean, it's a perfect combination. The veggies in the potatoes. To me, it just works. Yeah, there are a few spots here in Iowa that got a lot more rain than we did here in Des Moines. And there was a higher flood risk. But one thing the rain definitely did do, it made things wet enough so fire risk has really dropped. That is a definite relief. We've had a few wildfires here in Iowa, and there was a news report of an HOA community. There was a open field behind some of the houses, and that's what got lit up by some errant spark or something. I don't remember what actually caused it, if that was even known. But it was just allowed to the residents themselves had to call the fire department, but the HOA apparently did not want to do anything for any of the homes that took little damage. After all, that's what the homeowners pay insurance for. That's what they pay the HOA fees for. And so they are actually suing their board for not doing anything for any of the homeowners who actually had damage to their properties. Yeah, weather forecasts can be wrong. It's really getting hard to figure out what's going on. I watch Ryan Hall, y'all. He put out a video today, and it looked like the central part of the U.S. was highlighted in red on his thumbnail. I haven't watched that video yet, but considering the one that he put up yesterday and the local forecast that I've been following here, Yeah, we could get some more stuff. So it's going to be a bit of a bugger for farmers who actually want to plant. And of course, gardeners who are wanting to plant. I probably won't put any seeds in until maybe the beginning of May. Next Saturday, a bunch of us are going to my mosque and we're going to plant some flowers. We've been putting annuals in and a few perennials. A couple people had brought hostas, but some of those didn't make it. I don't know if transplant shock, that probably got some of them. That's pretty good tea. It's not bad. I drank my Twinings English breakfast tea this afternoon. And that's a really good tea. This is a little bit below that, but it's still a good tea. Yeah, I could plant some of my herbs, but I got to prep my pots. The soil has compacted big time just from sitting. So I got to loosen all that up. I got compost I'll throw in. But I want to mix up that compost. I just have been layering stuff in the bin and the bucket. So I want to do all that before I actually get out my seed packets and decide what seeds I'm going to put where. The bits of beef in here are really small, so it did not take very long for them to rehydrate. There's a bit of a carrot, that's what the orange is. Just a few bits of the other veggies in here, but I like that they're in here. I left my plant markers in. I just didn't bother taking them out last year, so. Some of them I'm going to leave in place because I didn't pull all of the plants out, even including the roots. I left some in. I want to see if they will come back. Like some of the herbs, I did that. I want to see if they will come back because I've never overwintered any before. The only time I've ever tried onions was I had taken some onion bottoms and then I had a couple of small onions that had started to grow tops. I did this at 2 different times. Actually, I tried the bottoms one year and then the small onions the year after that. And like 22, I did the onion bottoms. And then 23, I did whole small onions that are probably about half the diameter of this biscuit. But they really, the tops grew. I guess because I don't get direct sun on my deck, things just don't grow the way that they normally would. I have never attempted garlic. I've never attempted onions from seed, although I do have onion seeds. My watermelon radishes I tried last year, I did not get any bulbs. Nothing developed. So I don't know if what came up was actually some seeds that had gotten into the compost that I missed when I was putting it into that particular pot. Plus that pot had some other plant that I had removed when I liberated that pot from a ride to the dumpster. So I might have to either put those seeds in another location and try something else in that big ceramic pot, or just skip it altogether. I don't know. There is my crusher in the house, and I got your mug out. I just randomly selected your mug tonight. Last Sunday I used my new foreign MRE mug. And tonight my crusher's mug came out. I have a mug from Germ's MRE. And of course I have my delicious mug. And I may be on the hunt for other ration reviewers who may have merch that may have mugs. To Carlos Perry in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This is meal 2 of the the Dutch 24-hour cold climate ration. I don't know why I was thinking Norwegian, because this is a big old amount of potatoes, and I have eaten a good amount of it already. But this is instant potatoes with beef and other seasonings, and then there was an instant vegetable soup, so I threw that in here before I put the boiling water in to start rehydrating the potatoes. So I figured that might give the potatoes more flavor, and I wouldn't have to use an additional container or a bowl or something to put the soup in, or an additional amount of water. As I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if some Dutch soldiers in the field would do the same thing. And then I have the curry soup. Is going to go into the chicken with rice. I decided to have the potatoes with beef because, cooking 2 Sundays in a row. I figured I'd change it up. Of course, last Sunday, my oldest sister hosted lunch at her house. Apparently, they thought it was some kind of a holiday, and they wanted that as an excuse to get people together. But my brother was sick, so he wasn't there. My older nephew was not there. I don't remember if he was sick or he had to work or there was something going on at his house that he had to deal with. So one of my sisters put some food in a container or in a few containers to take home to my brother. And my younger nephew and his wife were there. My niece and my great niece were there. I don't celebrate Easter, but hey, it's a home cooked meal, so why not? But we had some of the same things that we have for Thanksgiving, like green bean casserole. And then the mac and cheese was a different recipe. One of the celebrity recipes my sister got hold of. And mashed potatoes with gravy. There was ham, which I did not eat. And a roast beef. And the usual relish suspects like veggies and dip. There were some big versions of the Hawaiian rolls. They're sweet like the Hawaiian rolls, but a whole lot bigger. One of those would fill one of these squares in this tray. That's how big they were. It's so warm in here, I think this chocolate bar is melting. No, maybe not. That might have been... Nope, that's a hazelnut spread that kind of leaked off of... This is a bit on the runny side. This was the Behemoth Dutch Cold Climate 24-hour ration, menu 1. Figured this code 22 might correspond to a pack year, and then when I was looking at all the best buy dates, and a couple of things had the pack dates, they were 2022. So this ration is from 2022. Last week I had the chicken masala with rice. That did not need anything added to it. That was pretty darn awesome stuff. I really enjoyed that. Wow, that's if you're cold, You don't need a blanket. You got those living warmers there. This is like a milk chocolate hazelnut spread. That's on here. This is rice pudding with vanilla. It's a bit soupy. But this is the only wet pack item in the entire ration. It's not too sweet. The vanilla is just there. And the rice is a lot firmer than what you would usually expect from a retort pouch. This had almost everything is done by Orifo. So here is the remaining main. It's got the Orifo name on there. Orifo is in a lot of rations from several different countries. About the only non-Orifo item in here is this Bridgeford cinnamon bun, and it's spelled bun with two N's. But Bridgeford made this for the Dutch ration packer. Tim Riley in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Oh, these... If I didn't have this vegetable soup to put in with these potatoes, yeah, a bunch of cheese could have gone in there. Earlier in this month, I decided just to treat myself to something from Northern Lights Pizza, and they put in several packets of the Parmesan cheese and red pepper flake. I never used them, but I have them. Those could have gone into something. Yeah, something could have scratched his cornea, or something, a particle of something could have gotten into his eye socket and irritated it. Maybe it would have to be flushed out. Although trying to do that to a cat might be easier said than done. Thanks for dropping in, Waffles. Oh, by the way, Waffles has been putting up some videos of rations he has gotten a hold of. He does it in a different way, but he occasionally likes to have a little fun with them, just like I do. But he takes some of the ration components out on one of his hikes, or if he's traveling, he will take some ration stuff with him. But yeah, definitely check out the stuff that he's been putting up. This is the Orifo orange drink. It's awesome. It is right up there with the grapefruit drink. I think the Orifo grapefruit drink might be a little bit better than the British grapefruit drink. As much as I like that. I think I've had a German one too, but it's been a long time since I had a German grapefruit drink. There might have been one in the only German 24-hour ration that I have ever had, and it's been a long time since I've reviewed that one. I think there was a grapefruit drink in there, and I thought that one was pretty good. Wow, what year was that? I would love to get a case of most recent MCWs possible. I'm going to put a little bit more. Now this stuff is not like Nutella. It's got a good cocoa flavor. Hazelnut is just barely there. And it's pretty runny. I still have a few left of my 2024 case B and my 22 case A. I still have a few left of those. And I have one halal emery, and that was a duplicate of the one I ate the Sunday after the Eid holiday. So I'm obviously not going to review that one. That one is either just for personal enjoyment or who knows, something, I might do something else with it. Wow, that's, so those are 23s. Or 2020 if it's a 5-year. I would like to try some of the newest menus that I haven't had so far, so I would probably want to try to get a 24 case B. I mean a case A. I'd love to get a fresh case of halal emeries. I am going to get the sea cars. That may be later in the year when I actually buy one or two of those. I think I'm gonna have to. It was a bit thicker, but some of that got down into there, but oh well. I needed that, but it's still kind of like what peanut butter does. It can separate. And I think that's what that stuff did. Yeah, that'll get it out of there. Gotta go back to my taters. These cranberries, though, they're really good. Oop, I got one of those jelly beans. I don't know which flavor of the jelly beans, but I was going for the cranberries and I picked up one of the jelly beans. Well, I'll try this red one on its own. That's cherry. I'll move the chocolate bar. Yeah, this kind of a off-white one, which looks a little bit like the grapefruit drink did. It's definitely not grapefruit. That kind of tastes like coconut. Now that one tastes like a sweetened coconut. There's the orange one. Tastes like orange. Purple one will probably taste like grape, but I'll find out. Yep. Yellow one will probably taste like lemon. Yep. This blue one kind of looks like a jelly bean version of the Canadian Ice sports drink. Some kind of a mixed berry. And save. Let's see, there's this color here that's kind of like a red to green. Kind of tastes like a sour apple. The green one. That kind of tastes like a green apple, but there's no lime. That one is definitely lime. But not a strong lime flavor, but yeah, it's lime. So there's a run through all the jelly beans. If I had some raisins, I would throw those into the rice pudding, but since I have the cranberries, trying to separate them from the jelly beans. Now put the chocolate bar back there. I like raisins in rice pudding. So I figure why not put the cranberries in there. If I were actually doing the breakfast, which I usually don't do breakfast items in my reviews, although there have been a couple of times where I actually did prepare the oatmeal or muesli or whatever it was. Try this with the cranberries in it. That's good. I like that. Follow that up with a sip of breakfast tea. It's like English breakfast tea. So Orifol teas are actually not that bad. I got a few of them in my stash from previous rations, and every once in a while I might get in the mood for one. Plus, they are part of my emergency stash of food that I can use if I have to hole up in here for a significant period of time for whatever reason. Plus, I have assorted teas in my brew kit in my camping food bag. I always keep certain things in there, and if I use them, I replace them. I have some things like that in my bug out bag and in my get home bag. My purse has some drink powders that I could mix with in a water bottle, and I also have some instant coffee packets. I like having stuff like that readily available should I need to do that. Yeah, definitely putting that vegetable soup mix in here definitely did nothing but good for these potatoes. It didn't obliterate the flavors that were already in there. It just added to it. Even with that spread, these biscuits are still as dry as ever. But they're still good. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just a bit on the dry side. This is going to come out in one big old clump. There we go. This tastes a lot like that chocolate hazelnut spread that I got to put on those ladyfinger cookies. I did some of them way back in December, but when that event got postponed, I put that plastic container full of those in the freezer. And they stayed there until about 3 days before that party that I went to, where I picked up that condiment serving set and that folding beach table. But then 2 days before that event, I used almost the rest of that spread on the remaining ladyfinger cookies. There's just a little bit left in a jar, and I just kind of ate that for a snack. Didn't bother putting that anything on it. I just scooped it right out of the jar. But this stuff tastes kind of like that. Although the hazelnut in this is not quite as prominent as it is in that other spread that I got from Hillel Groceries. I just broke the chocolate bar. Still dark inside. Not too much bloom. That is a decent dark chocolate. I like it. So, Orifol did pretty good with that one. Just looking at the chat to see if anybody had put anything new in there, but I haven't seen it. So I don't know if the chat is just not working right. Or if all of you are actually chowing down along with me. If CR was in here, he would be going after food. Yeah, I keep going back to these potatoes. This right here, I think, is the best thing out of this meal. Not a whole lot of meat in here, but it's pretty evenly distributed, and because it's in such small pieces, it took very little time to rehydrate. Of course, I didn't put in all of the water at once. I put in some, stir it, put in some, stir it, just kept doing that. That's how I do it when I'm doing my instant potatoes here at home. I do like that orange drink. And I will say it again. Orfo drinks put USMRE drinks to shame. They're so much better. They're more natural tasting. They don't have the crazy colorings that our drinks have. And that's a good thing. I got out the exotic drink mix. It's an isotonic drink. Carrot is used as a food color in this one. It's got a bunch of other nutrients that you'd find in these isotonic drinks, and this one uses carrot as a food color. So that one might be a bit orange, but it may not be as deep of orange as this one is. So this bag here that I took everything out of for tonight is about the size of a U.S. quart bag. So this bag will go with my quart Ziploc bags. I'm going to have some more of this pudding with the cranberries. Put coconut in here. The chewiness of the cranberry complements the rice, the big old piece of coconut in there. And I'm digging that. Several years ago, I attempted to make a rice pudding, but I don't think I put enough milk in it. But I still served it at the mosque. It was an effort. You know, I really had to come up with a way to transport it by bus since I don't drive. But I got it there. Yeah, at least I tried. I used jasmine rice, which probably was not the best rice to use for that. I probably should have used a rice that's closer to the rice that's in this one. Just your common basic white rice. And because I don't have a big stove here and my large burner doesn't work, it was a bit of a struggle to make it in batches and then put that into like the half size foil pans, because that was the easiest for me to carry. But somehow I made it work. And I had these flavored sugars, a couple different flavors, like one I think was maple, and the other one I forget, I think it was almond flavored. So I put that on top in kind of stripes. I alternated the flavors as I was striping it across the top of that rice pudding. I was trying to be decorative. At least no one told me that it was bad. People ate it. You know, I told them I tried. I think I screwed it up, but oh well. I'm trying to take a smaller piece of biscuit and use it to spread this around the bigger piece. A jam or jelly would be good with these too, but I used that last week. Oh no, actually I got that jelly. I used the peanut butter last week. I got the apricot jam saved for the biscuits fruit for next week. So I'm looking forward to doing that. These cranberries could have gone into the corn muesli if I were to prepare that. But I wanted them tonight. I have the spicy sauce. That I can use on the main if I wanted to, because it's a spicy chicken with rice. I think I've had that main once before. I just had it as a loose item from a box, and I think I took it on a camping trip. And it wasn't all that spicy, so I may throw the spicy sauce in along with that curry soup. I think that's going to be good. These Orful entrees, these freeze-dried ones, they're about up there with the Norwegian. I would definitely recommend trying some more of these. The Blaubeeren ones, I definitely want to try some of those. I believe those are in Swedish rations. I've never seen the inside of a Danish ration in person, so it's been a long time since I've seen one opened up on YouTube, so I don't even remember who might have done that. I'm pretty sure Steve probably has. But and I've said this before, I tried to buy one on eBay, but the seller's payment system would not accept a payment in dollars. And I had no way of making it convert to whatever their currency was, so I had to tell the seller that their payment system is not accepting dollars, so have to cancel the order. That's the same with a German EPA, the one of those that's in the plastic bag. The same thing happened with that. And I believe the two that I was looking at were halal certified. So I was even more annoyed. But I am not going to try to buy rations from foreign sellers anymore. Just too risky. If a foreign seller had a US MRE, I got away with it once. I don't know if I could get away with that again. I'm actually quite surprised since that it was a halal MRE. It was located in Lithuania. I'm surprised I got away with that. That package was never opened. It was just stamped and stickered and sent on its way. I wanted to do that specifically as a test to see if a U.S. ration would get stopped by customs. But if I were to do that now, no, I'm not going to take that risk. So the sites that I bought foreign rations from, and even U.S. stuff, you know, I'm not going through them anymore. I think in a couple of months, I'm going to be on the hunt for rations. Even though I have a good stash here. I have seen the 3 C-carb menus reviewed. I would hope that the company that is producing them adds more menus. But I am bummed that the first strikes are being replaced. I'm almost tempted to buy a case of them. But I would have to wait till I can see them for a good price and the shipping wouldn't be outrageous. ZPD Survival in the House. Thanks for dropping in. I finished off the mashed potatoes with beef that I added the vegetable soup mix to. This rice pudding with vanilla, but I threw the cranberries, some of the cranberries in. I'd eaten a few of those already, but I threw the cranberries in here. Just add a little bit more flavor and texture. These jelly beans, the color accurately represents the flavor, although this one that looks like grapefruit, it's actually coconut flavored. And this blue one is kind of a mixed berry, but the other colors, the flavors do match the color. It's chocolate hazelnut spread. It's definitely not Nutella. It tastes a lot like the one that I got from Hilla Groceries, that I got specifically to spread on ladyfinger cookies. This stuff, I needed it, but there's thick bits and runny bits. Ah, crap, just broke that one. That piece did not get the spread on it, but that's pretty much into that packet. Oh, I was putting that spread packet in here. I pulled out the orange ring packet. Carrot was used as the coloring for that mix. So this is colored with carrot. I thought that was kind of interesting. As ZPD, since you got in a few minutes late, once this becomes available for replay, you can check out the beginning. To see what everything looked like before I started chowing down. I got the breakfast tea in my Mike Crusher Reviews mug. I just randomly picked that one off the wall. Car Cam in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Haven't seen your name in here before. Welcome. I do this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. I'm in Iowa. Just sitting here in my apartment living room. The chocolate hazelnut spread is nowhere near like Nutella, but it's decent. A bit hard to get out because some of it was runny, some of it was super thick. But the soldier in the field would be very happy to have it. Something, a bit of comfort, morale booster, that sort of thing. This rice pudding was the only wet pack item in here. And I put it in my fridge for a while before I opened up the pouch. I added cranberries to it, just for the heck of it. This chocolate is not a bad chocolate. I'm happy with it. These are referred to as digestive biscuits. A slightly different texture and flavor and ingredients than the ones that I had last week. The label called it Biscuits Brown, but it was not the same brand. It was not the Orfo branded. It was something completely different. And I used the peanut butter on those. So the Orfo Biscuits fruit, which, as the name implies, it's got fruit bits or fruit flavor. That will get the apricot jam. And the dessert will be the cinnamon bun made by Bridgeford. Other than that, almost everything else is Orfo branded, including these jelly beans. And these are, the flavors are true to the color. So the mashed potatoes with beef, had some onions, some garlic, but there's a vegetable soup mix. I threw that in with the potatoes. And it had bits of carrot and other seasonings, so I would do that every time I had these. Last week's meal was the chicken masala. I'm going to bring back the bag. The breakfast had the corn muesli, and it recommended the rice pudding. And next week is spicy chicken with rice. And there is this is the other instant soup mix. This is the curry. Actual flavor name is on the other side of this packet. But that's the soup mix. I will put that into the spicy chicken with rice. And there's a hot sauce packet. I'm going to throw that in too. In fact, I'm going to throw that in along with the soup mix before I put the water in. Better distribute that flavor. These Dutch rations are massive. If I wanted to, say if I were to take this whole ration, say on an overnight camping trip, and I spread things out just right, I could get 4 meals out of it. If I really wanted to, maybe add a couple of additional things. Because I had 3 instant coffees, 2 instant iced tea drink mixes, 1 lemon flavor, 1 orange flavor, 2 cocoa mixes, like 4 tea bags, enough sugar for all of the coffees and tea, but only 1 creamer packet, and I used that last week. Plus the 4 isotonic drink mixes. There are 2 grapefruit drink mixes. So that second one is in my stash, along with my other drink mixes from various rations. So the items that I do not use are held in reserve. The spoon is in my bag of plastic spoons. That I keep in case I have to severely restrict my water use, and I have to focus my water use on consumption and hygiene, cleaning myself, treating, if I have to treat the water, whether it's using my water purification tablets or my iodine drops or any one of my filters, and boiling. I also have bags of plastic forks. I put any sporks that I get in that bag as well. This one came with your standard pocket tissue pack. I have that stored up with other tissue packs. The wipes, I put those in a bag with other wet wipes. And this one had a very, very tiny vitamin D tablet. I got that stashed away. That vitamin D tablet is about the size of one of these rice grains. At first I thought there was nothing in there, that the tablet missed the packet, but I did find it. I got the gum stashed with my other ration gums and candies. I got Canadian Tic Tacs in there as well. And the toothpicks, I got those stashed away in one of my emergency kits. Those are wrapped in plastic to keep them clean. Sometimes you get toothpicks that are wrapped in paper. I save all of those. So the coffees and teas and the other drink mixes from this ration that I did not use, those are all stashed away. They would also be good barter items. If I had to go somewhere and do a trade with somebody, I think just for the heck of it, I might throw these last few bits, these small bits of these digestive biscuits into the rice pudding. Just for the heck of it. I just heard something pop outside. I don't know if a vehicle's tire popped or someone had a balloon or a bag with air in it and popped it. I don't know. My blind is closed, so I obviously can't see outside. Plus it's dark. That noise could have come from the park across the street, so I would not have seen that anyway. Just sounded weird. Yep, that's true. weird stuff goes on in the east side of Des Moines. When I come up to intersection close to a bus stop that I regularly use when I want to go downtown to the Dart station, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, I see bits that have busted off of some vehicle that either crashed into the curb, smacked another vehicle, or hit a sign or something like that. And I can hear the sound of crashes. So I don't know what it is about that intersection that people just can't drive right there. And of course, you got those nutheads who don't like to use turn signals when they want to turn. Or they only turn it on after they have started the turn. This is probably a 60% cacao. I'm not sure. I'd never looked at the label. It's got a good snap to it. There's just that little bit of surface bloom, which doesn't bother me one bit. When I have my windows open, I can hear when the fire trucks and ambulances and occasional police cars are hauling tail on Grand Avenue. I will definitely start thinking about what I'm going to do in 2 weeks for my Sunday night dinner. I will probably go back to one of my USMREs. So I got, as I said earlier, I got a few from my 22 pack and 20. Got some 24s. My 24s are case B. My 22s are case A. Later on, I will get into the RCIR that I got along with this Dutch ration. And I have my favorite Chilean DAF ration, the salmon paella. I also have a brown bag corned beef hash, MRE. So knowing who I got those from, I think they should be in pretty good shape. I even have hopes for that corned beef hash, Emery. I've had 3 of those so far. One of those was bad because it was compromised. But the other 2 that I had, absolutely awesome. Someone just went by with some loud noise that they call music. I hope my mic didn't pick it up because I don't want a copyright strike. I check all my videos after upload. I check them. I check to see if I got any warnings or strikes on them. Yeah, I would not want that to happen, especially if I had no intention of recording that kind of stuff. One of my earlier rain videos, I was standing out on my deck and someone was playing some music. Nope, I'm gonna wait till they're out of here before I start recording. And I definitely don't want to happen to me what happened to, I forget the channel name, but it's been a few years. Some YouTuber got dinged with violating their own copyright. But I guess that can happen. And there have been YouTubers who have gotten warnings or strikes for something that was not even in the video. Like one got dinged with a content warning for showing a plinker when that YouTuber did not even have one on him. He was not carrying a plinker. There was none shown, but apparently either their bot system decided to put that strike or warning on that particular video, even though it was baseless. Then another one got a content warning about misinformation on a segment of the video that was showing a timer countdown. Now, yeah, that's crazy when that happens. And there's probably been weirder instances than that have happened to other YouTubers. I just don't want that to happen to me, or anyone for that matter. Except the bot channels. AI channels, they can all go. I was scrolling through my feed looking for something to watch, and I would see these channels. I'd look at the titles, I'd look at the thumbnails, I look at the channel names. Nope. AI, nope. I don't want it. Don't recommend it. So I've been telling YouTube not to recommend that particular channel, but there's going to be more of those AI channels that the audio is bad, the way the sentences are structured, the way some of the words are pronounced, images don't always jive with the words, just stock images stolen from who knows where. You know, bad AI generated voice. Nope, don't want anything to do with them. And of course, last night, YouTube, I was started to watch one video, and my one of my shopping haul videos showed up and recommended to me. Yeah, YouTube is recommending my own videos, suggesting I watch it. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to tell YouTube not to recommend my own channel to me. I guess that doesn't hurt my view count or my channel in any way if I do that. So we'll just see how that goes. Hardly any residue left in the old drinking jar. That's another thing I like about the Orifo drinks. They mix very well. And I use a cold water right out of my fridge. I'm not going to shoot any video of us planting flowers in front of the mosque. I'm not going to do that. I'll just be too busy doing what I can. I already took both of them. The only two gardening tools that I own is a Fisker's trowel and then a combination tool that I found at a thrift store. It's got a claw on one side and a 90-degree angled trowel, or you could use it like a mini hoe. Yeah, the claw is also 90-degree angled to the handle. So I have already got both of those in a bag. And last year when we did this for the first time, I took them. Others had, we had some rakes and assorted shovels. A couple others had the trowel similar to mine. And so between all of them, we got it done. Someone paid for a few, maybe a couple £100 of wood mulch, and we have in-ground lights that are solar powered. Only problem is dirt and debris gets on the little solar cells, so they don't get the charge. So unless the wind blows the stuff off, someone would have to clean them off so that the solar cells could charge the battery, and then they would come on at night. The lights are about as big around as maybe a little bit. You know, the light could fit inside of this bowl. That's about the size of the whole light. It's a round puck with individual LEDs around the center solar cell. And then they get inset into the ground, and the battery housing is on the underside of that thing. Now, because they're solar powered, like other solar garden or yard lights, they can serve a dual purpose. And in other prepping channels, you may hear the person talking about using yard lights as emergency indoor lights. You just put them outside, let them charge. And then at night when they come on, instead of just leaving them outside, you bring them inside. To have indoor light, but I wouldn't rely on those as my primary indoor light. I've already got lanterns and flashlights. And because I am in the city, I would I would watch how much light would show through my windows, even when covered. And I would try to use, I'd be very careful about how much draw I take off my power stations. Fishy friend, I don't know what that is that you put into the chat, but all I see is a rectangle with an X in it. So maybe my tablet cannot recognize what that was you put into the chat. I don't know if that was an emoji or what the heck that was. So I apologize for not being able to figure out what that is. I finished off the rice pudding. I'm going to finish off the chocolate bar. And it's going to be one big fruit blast from all of these jelly beans. I think these jelly beans are better than Jelly Belly. Those are very good jelly beans. I would definitely have those again. That finishes off the tea. I want to give a big thanks to Matt of This and That with Matt for letting me have a good deal on this ration and throwing in that RCIR. So it was money well spent. And I am so looking forward to the third meal. I think that is going to be pretty darn good. I think the exotic drink mix would be a good thing to have with that. The fruit jam with the fruit biscuits, I think, will be good with that. I will heat up the Bridgeford cinnamon bun. I'm not going to put it in a pot of water and boil it. I'm going to find another way to heat it. And my cat is down here walking around and under my chair. She's to my right, so well out of camera view. Oh, here she comes. Pumpkin. Pumpkin. Move my tray closer. There's a pumpkin. Oh, she walked under the chair again. What you doing, pumpkin? Hmm? What's on your little kitty mind, pumpkin? What's on your little kitty mind? Did you wake up from a cat nap, pumpkin? Hmm? Was you sleeping like a lazy cat? She likes to walk back and forth underneath my chair and behind it, and it's just what she does. Oh, there are some rations that I would love to get my paws on. I would love some of the newest menu MCWs, the Meal Cold Weather. My favorite menus got booted out of the lineup, which I'm not happy about. But I would love to try some of the newer MCW menus. And I want to get some 24-pack K-Say MREs. I think there's some new menus in that are different from my 22-pack K-Says. And of course, I do want to get some more foreign rations, but yeah, easier said than done on that. I still want a Polish ration with goulash. Because last year I tried to do a comparison between a U.S. Amory goulash and a Polish goulash, but the ration that I got, the thing that was labeled goulash, was a can of beef luncheon loaf. Like a beef spam or something like that. It was not the goulash that looks similar to what you would typically think of as a goulash. But I have another goulash MRE, so I've been sitting on that one. But maybe if not a Polish ration with goulash, but another country's ration with goulash, I would love to do a direct comparison between that and the American version. I've done that with a couple of Canadian IMPs, and I'm hoping to get a hold of a Canadian cornbread. Yeah, that is a thing. I have an American cornbread. I would love to do a direct comparison between that and the Canadian. I had a Canadian cornbread, but that one was rather, it seemed like it was underbaked. I'm just drinking from my water bottle. But I would love to do that. Oh, I'm going to move this. Pumpkin is trying to approach it. There's nothing there for the kitty, Pumpkin. There's nothing there for the kitty. No, there's not. I know you smell something, but it's all gone. There's nothing for the kitty, Pumpkin. I'm going to tie my trash bag up. I just used a Walgreens shopping bag to put my trash in. That Ration comes in a huge Ziploc bag, which I'm keeping. Now that's nice and compact. It can go into the trash can. Yeah, I want to compare not only the taste, but the texture, the appearance. See, I did this with the Canadian, the Canadian beef ravioli versus the American beef ravioli. I prefer the Canadian. And I think the other one was chili. And I prefer the Canadian chili over the American chili. I'm also going to do a comparison between the 3 U.S. Emery hot powders. I have the hot sauce powder, the picante sauce powder, and then as an extra bonus I have the packet of red pepper flake. Originally I was just going to do that on just a plain bag of rice, but then I got a hold of that arborio rice pack with the cheese seasoning. I think I will prepare that and then divide that up and then put the 3 different hot seasonings on that. I think that'll be interesting. Yeah, as far as the tortillas, the Canadian tortillas are pretty much like the American tortillas. In fact, I think they're made by the same company. The company that does the American tortillas, then they just send them up to Canada. So I'm sitting on my American cornbread until I can get a Canadian one. Well, I just finished off the water that's in my bottle. I have a few loose entrees. I got a couple of Polish vegetarian ones that Delicious sent me. I got a loose French one of those that's in the can. I have a couple of Canadian ones. And I have, I think it's a Singapore entree or an Indonesian. I don't remember which one, but I've been sitting on that particular one for a while, so I should probably I might do a ration mashup after I'm done with this Dutch ration. I think that might be fun. I haven't done that in a few years. It's kind of like what Rocker something has been doing. He's been combining ration components to make meals out of. And I think he pulls a few things from his kitchen too. But I pretty much stick with ration components, so yeah, I might do that. And then get into an American ration. Again, I got a bit of time to think about that, what I'm going to do. But I will continue these live Sunday night dinners until my family heads to Lake Icaria, that is outside of Corning, Iowa. My late dad grew up in that area. So the lake was man-made. It has not always been there. Before the lake was added, it was just a more primitive campground with some pads for RVs and those type of campers. But we go there every summer for about a week, give or take a day. It's just when the most of us can get together. We always do it in the summer because it's when my oldest sister is done with her teaching job. Before my great niece goes back to school. She is a freshman in high school this year. I still want to think of her as a little kid. I got to hold her only a few hours after she was born. She will be doing driving lessons soon. But Lake Icaria has a whole bunch of memorial benches around it. And anyone who wants to can pay Adams County Parks and Rec Department a fee to have a name and maybe a saying put on one of those benches in honor of a loved one. So a few years after my dad died, my mom did that. She had his name put on a little plaque that was attached to one of those benches. And every year they add a few more because so many people have been wanting to put names on them. Plus, it does help support the maintenance of that park, along with the fees that we pay to use the cabins or camp spots. But when that trip gets closer, I will toss a post up saying that I will not be live on a particular Sunday. But then after I come back, I'm back at it again until the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow. This time it will be the second weekend in September instead of the third. We are moving it because we don't want to conflict with another event. So by doing this, we hope to draw a bigger audience, bring more people in. I am not Indigenous myself, but I fell into helping with the kids' crafts. And then a couple of years ago, I donated a wagon. And they said at the committee meeting that I attended that they were thinking about getting one, and then I show up with one. All thanks to an Amazon screw up. And they said I could keep both wagons. But I'm thinking, nope, I know where one of these is going. So I contacted one of the committee members saying, I got this wagon, I want to donate it to you guys because it could probably come in handy. Plus, I would use mine during that weekend. So I put S's all over mine to distinguish mine from the powwow committees because they're both the same color. Yeah, I ordered an Odie green one. And somehow, because of a shipping snafu, I ended up with two of them. Well, just like this last batch of stuff I got from Amazon, it was a shipping mess up. I ended up getting the original package with everything that I had ordered, but then I kept getting text messages saying that I had to return every single item from the original order and the replacement order at my expense. This is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of weight. I don't drive. And the location that I would have to go to is not accessible by bus, so how's that going to work? So after talking to a supervisor, she said, just keep it all. So the wipes, I ended up with 4 packs of those disinfecting wipes, 4 containers in each pack. I had already taken one to the mosque. I said, I've already taken one to the mosque. They've already gotten into it because we needed them. We were getting low. So I'm not going back there to get the remainder. And I had taken, of course, I didn't get it in this bunch, but the hand soap refill bottles, I get those at different times. I had taken most of those to the mosque. I have 2 of those bottles here. I may keep the The next two bottles of that I get, that Dawn Power Wash, I think I'm going to keep one of the refills here at home and take the others to the mosque, and because it would get used up a lot faster than I would use it. But I had showed a couple of the others how to take the sprayer off the one bottle and then just put it on the, and take the cap off the refill bottle, then just put the spray head on top of the refill bottle instead of trying to fill from one to the other. You just take the spray head off of one, you take the cap off of the refill bottle, then you put the cap on the empty bottle, and you're good to go. But I'm going to be taking some more of those wipes and some of that Dawn Power Wash there. And the rest of the stuff, I got those thin 10-gallon trash bags. I think I've got enough of those for a while, so these subscribe and save, you can cancel them. I have dropped a couple of them. I have had to change a couple of them because the one item was out of stock, like the one Purina Naturals cat food. The original flavor was out of stock, so the indoor, so I switched to that. I think that's going to be better for Pumpkin anyway, since it's an indoor formula, and she's an indoor cat. But yeah, I changed those up. And those LifeStraw Flex carbon filters, because they don't last as long as the main filter, you would have to change those out more often. That's why I am getting those delivered. So I may drop one subscription, and I might replace it with something else. I have since added the Tide pods, the ones without any colors or scents. Now I have 4 of those containers. And there's like 75 pods in each container, so I think that's going to do me for a while. Plus, I have those laundry detergent sheets. I have a few of those. I may get some more of those. And speaking of those, Disabled and Prepping, she did a video on how she stores those. She takes them out of their original packaging and vacuum seals them in 30 count packs, and she puts them into a container, like a Plano type storage container. So she can have a whole bunch of those in that small space, and she used an Arizona tea jug as a representation of a laundry detergent jug, show how much space she saves with these laundry detergent sheets compared to the liquid laundry soap jugs. Yeah, she lives in an apartment like I do, So you got to maximize your space. But yeah, I have these pods. I got 4 containers of 75. I think that's going to last me a little bit. Oh, I just heard a crash sound. Probably from that one corner that I always see bits of stuff off of the vehicle. I think that's going to do me for tonight. I'm definitely satisfied. I am so happy that I was able to get a hold of this Dutch ration. So far, it has exceeded my expectations. I'm hoping that in the future I can get my paws on a few other rations from other countries that I have not sampled before. I would like to try a Danish. I would like to try a Dutch. Heck, I would even like to try a South African ration. Yeah, Blind Fox could probably find some, but getting them up here would be it'd be like throwing a ball on a roulette wheel, and who knows where it's going to land. But when I look on eBay for rations, I make sure that it is already in the U.S. That way I don't have to worry about some nuthead getting their paws on it. Or should I say claws. Because they don't treat our stuff very well. But I think that's going to do it for tonight. And for those who are catching this on the replay, I hope you do enjoy watching this. Now, I know there are some who would have loved to have been here, but stuff comes up, and I'm okay with that. That's why I'm glad these are archived for later viewing. But next week will be the last meal from this ration. And I will be going over in this old Polish noggin what I'm going to do the Sunday after that. Again, I want to thank Matt of This and That with Matt for making this one available to me. So thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.